Yeah, firstly, I would say thank you very much for having me here and to join this community. And yes, my name is Teng from University Groningen. And today I'm very happy to give a presentation about one of my research. It's about consumer heterogeneity and market concentration. I use agent-based modeling as the main research method. And before that, I give a short self-introduction. Yeah, I'm a postdoc now. I'm working on an EU project about preparedness for the health crisis and disasters. Simply, we are working on helping people to better prepare for the next pandemic. This is the main topic. And for my research background, it's more interdisciplinary because I did research about consumer behavior. For example, I have some studies about how limited attention of consumers and how consumer heterogeneity influence the market structure. And I also did research about vaccination behavior, like how the field-based information processing or the culture influence your decision to get vaccinated or not. And currently, I'm working on the policy modeling. Like I focus on the vulnerable groups to do some policy evaluation and also cooperate with others about, for example, farmer behavior. So it seems there are so many different topics in my research background. But for me, I think they all follow the same logic or the same research framework. So I show here, there's a figure, it shows the macro interactions. It's also, I think, one of the most important contributions from my PhD dissertation. And I benefit a lot from this research framework. So I would like to introduce a bit. It measures the decision-making process and the opinion dynamics process, like from the individual level, whether you make a decision to do something, to buy something or not, to get vaccinated or not. They are all influenced by, firstly, your individual characteristics. And after you have your first opinion, you will influenced by your friends. For example, your family, your friends, they will influence your opinion, and also some more powerful people, for example, the government or the opinion leaders, is from the social network level influence. They will form your final opinion, and based on your opinion, you will make the real decision to do something or not. So this is for one agent, for one individual. We have thousands of people here. So from the societal level, we can already see societal level outcomes based on the individual interactions. For example, the vaccination rate or social polarization. And these societal level outcomes also serves as the environment to influence your decision-making process. So here's the main research framework. And my research method is agent-based modeling. For me, I assume most of you already know or have used this method, and some of you already are the expert. So I just give very short introduction to see why I use ABM in my research. The main reason is like the social problems are always complex. So we use agent-based model to help us to understand or unravel the social complexity. So what is social complexity? In a system or in the social problem, there are always multiple or interdependent individuals, and there are always competing dynamics. And more importantly, there are so many non-linear relationships between different mechanisms or factors. And in the end, there are some unintended consequences happened. That means there are emergencies in the system. So we use the agent-based model to help us to understand how different mechanisms or the factors they simultaneously or separately influence the macro outcomes. And it serves as a very powerful tool to model the micro-macro interactions. And now I use a specific case to show how I use the agent-based modeling to do the research in this topic. It's called consumer heterogeneity and market concentration. So why I have this question, I proposed this research question from the empirical observation. So in China, in the e-commerce market, there is a phenomenon called market concentration. That means a few products or a few brands occupy the most market share in the market, in the e-commerce platform. For example, in the market of a phone, the top 5 brands occupied more than 80% market share. In the market of air conditioning, only one brand occupied more than 60% market share. So this phenomenon, we call it market concentration. So we want to know why this happened, why only a few products can occupy most of the market share. After doing the literature review, we know that most of the studies, they said it's because the sellers, they have successful marketing strategies because of their innovation, technology innovation, or because they have natural resources or something. Most of the reasons are from the seller side. However, if this is the case, we cannot explain another complexity. That is, there are so many similar or identical products on the market. Imagine like if you want to buy the sports shoes, you search these keywords, there will be hundreds of thousands of pages shows the similar market, similar products. They have similar product description. They have similar even the price. So we cannot really tell even in this identical product market, we still see the market concentration phenomenon. That means still there are a few products occupy the more market share. So if we want to explain this phenomenon from the seller side, it's really hard because the sellers or the product, they are the same. Why still there is a market concentration? So this encourages us to think from the consumer side, another very important rule in a market. So we say now our question is how the consumer heterogeneity or the social influence between consumers, they affect this market concentration. And particularly, we want to know how and which condition the market concentration occur in the situation of identical products. To explore this, we first need to define the consumer heterogeneity. So we define this heterogeneity by the different types of consumers based on 2 dimensions. The first dimension is related to the brand loyalty. Like if consumers prefer to buy the product they have purchased before, so we call it more conservative consumers. And however, if you prefer new products every time, so we call these consumers risk-taking consumers. And the second dimension is after you buy the product, you will give comments or reviews. If you prefer to give the positive comments, we call it the tolerant consumer. If you prefer to give the negative comments, we say the consumer are picky. So based on 2 dimensions, we have now 4 types of consumers. For example, the CP type, means you are the conservative and the picky consumers. It also means every time you prefer to buy the product you purchased before, and after that, you always give the negative comments. So we have 4 types here. And now we need to translate our story into a simulated market, into the model. So based on this research framework, it measures the micro-macro interactions. So firstly, from the micro level, we divide the consumer purchase process into 3 stages. The first is the search, like you search products online. However, it's how many products you can search is related to your limited attention. It means you can only search several of them, compare several of them, not all the products in the market. And after you have several candidates in your shopping cart, then you will need to compare all these candidates and decide to buy which one. That's the next stage called consumption. This related to your type. Like if you prefer to buy a new one or the old one, after buy the product, we now in the last process called evaluation. That means you give comments. You need to give comments. And this also related to your type. Like you prefer to give positive reviews or negative reviews. So this is the micro purchase process. And this will influence the macro level performance. Like it will influence the sales of the product. It's also based on your comments or your reviews, it will influence the word of mouth of the product. And based on the sales, we can already calculate the market concentration. So here's the main like micro macro interactions here. And after running them, I also need to give a short introduction about the online networks. In this model, we have sellers and consumers. For all sellers, we assume they produce identical products. And for the consumers, they have different types. And for the online networks, there are two types of networks. The first is between consumer and consumer, because they influence each other by saying the word of mouth and the sales their friends give. For example, when they compare the product, they need to calculate the product attractiveness. It's based on the word of mouth and the sales. Like the more sales you have, the higher word of mouth you have, this product is more attractive. And the second online network is between the consumer and the sellers. After you buy the product, you build a link with this product, and the sales of this product also increase. So this is the online network. And based on our model, after running a few times, we can already do some, we can already explore some scenarios by doing simulation experiment. So the first one, it serves as a baseline scenario. We want to explore if the market have only one type of consumer. That means the extreme type consumer market. So now, as we introduced, there are 4 scenarios. For example, the CT, for this figure, I need to say for the x-axis, it shows the time. For the y, axis shows the market concentration. So in general, from the overall, you can say there are different market concentration happens here. If you remember, in this model, we already assume all the products are the same, but still we see there are different or even high concentration here. So it means there's still one or a few products occupy the most market share, even all the products are the same. So this reminds us to find reasons to explain the market concentration from the consumer side. If we go a little bit into the detail we see for the CT type, it means in this market, there are only conservative and tolerant consumers. It means all the consumers, they prefer the product they purchased before and always give positive reviews. So all the consumers follow these rules. And from the result, we can see that most of the time, there are very higher market concentration in the end. If we say another result, we can see in this result, most of market concentration keeping a low level. And also in this market, we can see there are some common traits. They all have a P trace. P means picky. So in this market, all the consumers, they prefer to give negative comments. So we see that from this result, we can see the higher the consumer's pickiness tendency, the more it hinders the market concentration. So this is the result. But now we want to know how this happens. So if we say, for example, this CP type, every time people buy the products you purchased last time, but every time you give the negative comments. So the more you purchased from this product, the more negative comments the product receives. So it's not easy for the product to accumulate the advantages of sales and word of mouth. So if but like if the CT market, every time you buy the product you purchased last time, and every time you give the positive reviews, so you make the product more attractive. So can you understand this? Yeah. So why from this model result, I think it can also explain. We can make it more general to explain other cases. For example, I like play ping pong, so I also join like a Dutch club, and we have some we have some games. Like the more games I played, the more likely I can have a higher ranking. However, I don't play ping pong very well. So every time, the more I played, the more negative point I received. So it makes my ranking even worse. So it's kind of the similar thing. If you want to occupy more market share, you have to improve your sales as well as the quality. That can accumulate your advantages from the both like word of mouth and sales. And we can add more complexity in the market. Like now we have two types of consumers in this market. We can explore these scenarios, and we can even add more complexity. Like we put all the different consumers in the same market. So to explore more complexity here. And also from the result, you can see there are more like dynamics here, but still we can find some stable patterns in this scenario. So I will not go into details about more experiments. And this paper was already published in YAS, So if you want to know more details, feel free to check. And yeah, in conclusion, I did this research to explain the market concentration from the perspective of consumers, especially the consumer heterogeneity. This is because traditional economic research rarely examines the market structure from the perspective of social influence or the opinion dynamics. And also list some model results here. The main message I want to say, sometimes the value of a product is defined by consumers, not only the sellers. So this is a study, and I also want to take this opportunity to introduce a little bit about my current work. So for that consumer study, it's a theoretical ABM, but now I'm also working on more like the empirical ABM, like before or during modeling. We also include other like method. For example, we did literature review, survey studies, and also interviews with different people to inform our model. So that's my future focus is about participatory modeling, like to integrate different stakeholders to enhance the model relevance and impact. And I just did organized one workshop here in Groningen with some policymakers and like NGOs or vulnerable peoples. We sit together to play the model together, and very nice to say we can use our model to help them understand the social complexity, and they can also provide some feedback to help us revise the model. So I think we benefit a lot from this participatory modeling. And for the next month, we will do the second round. So I think this is quite an interesting way to improve the model. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you very much for your listening.